Good afternoon. I hope that you're well. So I am doing a live today with Jennifer Mazur, and I'm so excited for sure. Oh, hi Warwick. Hi Theodora. So it's kind of an artist entrepreneur club meeting right now. So let me just add Jennifer, who already. I'm just going to wait for Jennifer. Okay, you are. Hi,
Hello.
welcome. I mean,
Whoops.
see how it starts. So who are you again?
Who am I?
No, how are you?
Oh, how am I? I'm good. I'm really good. Excited to be here. Nice
Cool.
to be talking and
Yes,
doing a live here on Instagram.
great. So am I. I'm so excited, and I'm really happy that we have actually a chance as well to speak live this way, and because it's also kind of a special one. Usually, I ask all of the questions, and today you have questions too.
I
So
do.
and it's a bit more informal, and I'm really loving that. I really love that. I'm really excited about today, and I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
and thank you everyone for joining. And so, how should actually we haven't talked about who should go first. Are you happy to go first?
Should I, as in, I should ask you questions first, or you should ask
Um,
me?
or should we do maybe one after one question each?
Yeah, let's do that. We can take turns.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool.
All right. Should I ask first or you ask first?
Go for it. Go
Okay,
ahead.
wait, I've got to look at my computer because
Okay. No.
that's where I have all my questions written up.
So do I.
Yeah. Okay, so the first question that I have for you is how did you find yourself working with artists?
Okay. So. Well, I could answer this question like on very different levels. So, but I think, well, the way I found myself working with artists is I really started working with artists more intensely when I looked for a job in an art gallery. And so that was during, I think, my third year at university. So I went and looked for experience and a job in an art gallery. And that's really when I started having collaborations with artists directly, because my first job in an art gallery, it was really an odd one. I loved it, but I I found, well, I entered this gallery. I was hired by the director, who I thought was the director of the place, and it was a gallery without a gallerist. And so there was an owner and there was a director, and there is some fight happening at some point, just a week after I arrived.
Mm.
Sorry. between the director and the gallery owner. And so the director left, and in the team there was a great curator with whom I have had lots of projects. I still have projects with him actually. His name is Azad Azifovic. And the third person was someone who was really involved and also kind of a co-director, but at the same time he was really in charge of the tech aspect. So it means that to organize the events and to have the collaborations directly with artists in the gallery, that was just me. And that was my first experience, and that I didn't do everything well, but but that was really, I really loved having so many responsibilities just out of my first experience. That was really great, and that really helped me developing relationships with artists.
Mm.
And I wasn't realizing at that time that what I really loved when I was in the gallery was when I was having conversations with artists. At the end of the day, I felt like I was on a cloud. I was really inspired at the end of every conversation I was having with an artist, because artists spend a lot of time thinking about life, and so they have a lot to share and a lot of experience to share about life. So that's how I found myself working with artists, and how I discovered this kind of passion.
That's really cool. I've got to ask one more follow-up question to that. So if you hadn't found yourself working in a gallery, what do you think you'd be working with now?
to be fully honest, I think I would be still working in a shop. I was selling at some point. One of my student jobs was to sell jewelry for Claire's. Do you know Claire's?
Yes.
And
Yes.
so at that point in my life, I was 18 years old, and I thought, that's much easier than going to university. I can just keep on doing that.
Yeah.
And so probably the reason why I went and found a job in an art gallery was because I decided to focus on my studies. And so probably if I hadn't had the chance to actually focus on my studies, and also had the people around me encouraging me to focus on my studies, I would have probably been focusing working in a shop. And I mean, that might have been good too. There were some people going, having promotions in the shop as well. That was also very inspiring to me. I was seeing like what it meant to get a promotion and to grow in this space. So I really like that as well. And I think maybe they had an influence on me as well.
Yeah. I think you found the right call. You found your calling though, because you're so good at this. You're such an inspiration. And yeah, I've fallen in love with you. So
so have I. But that's I mean with you, but I'm having so much fun. So I'm just so excited, and I'm so happy in the morning to go at my desk and to open the Slack group and my emails and things like that, and just talk with everyone and be able to help as well. It just makes me really, really happy. But thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Mm-hmm. Marisa says she worked at Claire's too.
I saw that. I could picture you working there, Risi. I mean, I totally picture the both of you working there.
Yeah. It was a really cool place. The only uncool thing was that I was working in Paris, so it was really near Notre Dame, and in the shop they had this idea that there was a ghost in and his name was Ed, and once I was.
It doesn't sound very French, Ed.
Right. Because the manager said that she had spoke to that ghost, and he said his name was Ed, and so I was really, really scared of that. And so, so that's.
He must have been some like leftover American tourist or something with the name Ed.
Well, she also said he was from the Middle Age period, so that's even weirder.
Yeah.
Ed in the Middle Age. I don't know, but I was 18 years old. I just believed it, and I was really, really scared.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's how I did I answer the
yeah, you did.
Ghost in the comments. Sounds British.
Yeah, I saw a ghost and sounds British. Yeah.
Might have been some British people around Paris in the Middle Age. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
So, well, I loved your first question, actually. So can you tell us a little bit more about your story? How you started to create artworks?
Oh, I think I've always created art. I mean, it's my mom was an artist, my grandfather was an artist, but I actually spent a lot of time, because my mom, for example, was classically trained. I spent a lot of time feeling like an imposter because I wasn't classically trained. I was always comparing myself to my mom and always feeling like anything that I did wasn't really good enough. So it took me a really, really long time to be able to recognize what I was doing as art. It was always just kind of crafting or, just
the walls around it.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't call it art for a really long time. But I've always done it, from a very young age. I can remember one of my very first, if you can even call it a project, I think I was probably 5 years old or so, and I told my mom that I wanted to write a book, um, for a 5-year-old book. And so she went and she got a bunch of paper and like cardboard, and she formed it into a book and tied it together with a red ribbon. And she asked what I wanted to say, and so this is a dog. So she would write, and
Right.
then I illustrated it.
Cool.
Maybe I was younger than 5 actually, because at 5 I probably would have done the writing myself. But there's always been projects, my entire life. So
It's
yeah.
so interesting. But can you, because what I find it interesting is that many artists I asked this question to will say, I have always been an artist. But so actually now I'm thinking, can you explain that feeling that you had as a child creating art?
It was so natural. I don't think I could really describe it because it's always been a part of me. I mean, it's always what I did with my free time. I was not the kid that was out playing sports. If I was outside, I was either on my bike or swimming, since I grew up in Florida and
Oh,
everybody has a swimming pool.
yeah.
But otherwise, I was either stuck in a book, reading in some corner, or I was painting or drawing. Or my mom's main medium, she was a ceramicist, so she had a studio at home. So there was always, I mean, there were just art supplies everywhere, and I almost feel like I grew up in an art gallery, because mom was always such a big collector that there was no space on the walls. There was
Right,
just art from all around the world
right.
and whatnot. So it was just, I mean, it was a natural thing for me. It felt right.
Yeah.
I guess is the best way. I felt at home when I
Mm.
was creating.
Well, I haven't really created art besides the moment I was told to do it, like at school or things like that, or you telling me to
Yeah.
do
Did you
it.
try? Did you
I
try
have.
painting with the T
I haven't. I think you have to make me do it. Give me a time and a date so I do it.
tonight? No, it's
Whoa.
Friday.
All right. Okay. Yeah. You know what? Yes. Yes. And everyone is accountable. So I have to. I mean, I am accountable to everyone watching now. So right. Wow. Okay. I will do that tonight, and I will do it while watching the replay of your session.
Yay! That sounds good.
So, Kat is saying she was like you, really into arty things, and that it's like going to your own happy place. And yeah, what I meant is that actually I can really relate to the book thing, because as a teenager, well, I always grew up with books, and as a teenager, I was really kind of a library kind of kid,
Yeah.
and I spent a lot of time reading novels, Jane Austen, and I read Jane Austen too many times. And so, yeah, I can really relate to that. I understand the
Yeah.
kind of inside type of kid.
Here in Stockholm, I think it's really, really interesting because one of the biggest libraries, it's a children's library,
Oh,
and they actually have an art studio that's connected to it.
oh, cool.
So it's like they're merging the two aspects together, which I think is so awesome and so amazing. I would have loved that so much as a kid. So when my daughter was younger, we would go and we would sit and read a couple books, and then she'd go off to the art studio, and you pay like a really tiny fee, and she could play with clay or paint different things, and they always have a
Wow.
theme, and I just think it's so amazing to
It's so
inspire
great.
that at such a
Yeah,
young age.
it really opens doors, I
Yeah.
think, and possibilities. And when we realize that we could have had this way to look at life earlier, maybe that's really, I mean, it's really hopeful in a way that you can do that for your daughter as well, that she has this possibility. That's cool.
Yeah. Should I ask you one of mine now?
Yep.
Okay.
Gillian, it's cool that you were a bookworm too. And I guess that's why we all connect well as well. I think we have so many in the Artist Entrepreneur Club, and here on this platform as well. We have so many common points. So it's something I really love.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's see. Now this is like a job interview. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? I
Oh my
mean,
God.
if you look at the club, where do you see it going in 5 years time or so?
Right. That's really. I mean, I think this question is really important, and that everyone should have someone to ask them this question. So thank you for that. But at the same time, it's a hard question to answer, because, and not because I don't have the answer, because I feel that being honest about it and being ambitious is not something that is well accepted. Maybe, I don't know if it's something related to the art world or something related to being a woman, but I really feel something around it, that saying that you can be ambitious or things like that can be, so yeah, you can be judged for it. So that's why it's a hard question.
No
So,
judgment here. We're a
cool.
safe zone.
So at the end of 2021, my goal is to have gathered 250 artists in the club. And now there are 70 artists. But for the Artist Entrepreneur Club, I don't wish to make it like an enormous club, because there is kind of a beautiful relationship and this club atmosphere, and we get to know each other. And it's, I mean, so at the moment, the goal for the highest I'm seeing the club go would be to gather 500 artists, something like that, in the club. I don't know exactly where I will be in 5 years, but I haven't planned it exactly. But I have other business ideas that are also coming up. So I have been, when I actually started organizing the masterclass on NFTs, I got so many sexist reactions that I decided to, and you helped me with it. You told me, okay, let this go. You have better things to do, and that really helped me. But I wanted for a while to learn to code, to program, and I decided to take a little tech turn also. So it's not part of what I'm doing during the day, but it's part of what I'm doing during the night, in the evening. So, and that's part of my next business idea. So that some of them are not especially art related, but some of them are also related to NFTs that I talk about during the masterclass. So yeah, I'm going in these directions probably in the 5 next years. So learning how to code, having a new business, an additional business related to that, working on NFTs, and probably having a business related to that, and developing the Artist Entrepreneur Club.
You're so ambitious.
And
you really are. In the best way. I mean, you know, women should be ambitious. We shouldn't be afraid to go out and, you know, grab the world and do what we want to do.
Yes, yeah, and I think so many people have this mindset of where they are alone, and for them it's really easy to just go outside and get what they want. So I really want to support women in this way as well. We get in this mindset, it's just easy, we want to do something, let's make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much for everyone for being so incredible. Yay, we can do that. And not just me, all of us. You too, Jennifer, and everyone.
We're going for it. Why not? Yes. I mean, yeah.
Can I return the question then?
Yeah.
Cool. So where do you see yourself, in fact?
That's yeah. Where do I see myself? Now this is going to sound really cocky. Okay. I see myself as being one of the most known and recognized artists for working with mental wellness in the world. Yes. I see myself reaching out to so many people that have suffered with mental health problems, such as myself, and just being able to give them some sort of encouragement and bravery, and working a lot with the mental health organizations, and just being as loud as I possibly can. Yeah, to encourage and inspire. And yeah, I don't have any specific, like in 1 year and 2 year and 3 year to get there. I'm just like trying to go full speed ahead and get there as quickly as I can.
You know what? I think it's so great that you are able to visualize that and to have an idea of where you want to go. And now that I'm working a little bit more on having like business plan and being a bit clear about having a goal, I can see that in my life when I visualized things and I knew before what I wanted exactly, really it happened and it directed me. And then now I realize that it started by visualizing it. Yeah. So I think that's such a big step. And yeah. I just wanted to say, guys who are here, can you see what person we have in the Artist Entrepreneur Club? I'm like, oh, that is so inspiring.
And the person leading us and inspiring us, I mean, come on.
Well, I love that. Well, that's amazing, Jennifer. You can definitely do that. And that gives me so many ideas that we can work on. So that's
super.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah. Should I ask you, or do you want to ask?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. What else? All right. What inspires you? Both work-wise and personal life.
Okay. So personal life, my partner inspires me a lot, really a lot. So, and what inspires me is that he has something for going through making sure that everything is clear and being able to bring a project from the beginning to the end, and also being such a supportive person and being really kind. And these things are really inspiring me. So that's something I look up to a lot. And also my mother inspires me a lot as well, because she has her own business. Mm-hmm. And so that was a way for me to look at her. And it wasn't she was a teacher for many years, and she decided that she didn't like it anymore. Mm-hmm. And so she wanted to do something else. And she's 50 years old now. And so at 50 years old.
She's so young. I'm almost the same age as your mother. Oh my God.
I think she's 50 years old. Yeah, she is.
Are you that young? See, obviously we have not planned this interview. You can see like authentic reactions to things.
What? Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fun. So I'm 26. And I think she was 28 when she had me, and I'm the third. So she had my oldest brother when she was 20. So that's really young. And yeah, and so and she decided to become how do you say that? When you sell estate agent? Is it how
to sell real estate?
Sell properties, yeah. And so at 50 years old, just like that, because she didn't like what she was doing before. So that really inspires me as well. So this is part of my personal life, but it's very much related somehow to my professional life as well. I think something else that inspires me in life is to be able to enjoy life. And that goes through loving what we do as a job as well, but at the same time enjoying in different ways. Not everything has to be around just one thing in my life. It can be, I can enjoy and I can love art, for example, as much as I love food, as much as I love walking. So, and these different things have as much importance in life, I think. And so that's something I love in my personal life.
Good.
I hope that's not like weird to say.
I can't
And
believe you're 26 and so ambitious. I mean, I was lost when I was 26.
I had a quarter life crisis.
Last year.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was working in a gallery and looking around me and realizing that's not the impact I want to have. That's not what I want to do. So, and I'm spending 8 hours per day in the gallery doing something that is talking to museum staff and talking to shipping companies. I talked with shipping companies so much. At some point, I wondered if I should open a shipping company.
Yeah.
And so that was not what I want. That was not the impact I wanted to do. And I was really thinking of what I could, from the beginning, what I could bring to the visual art industry.
Mm-hmm.
And so last year it really like hit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So enough talking about me. Sorry. So I have a question about your practice, because so could you tell us about the different layers, but not, I mean, yeah, physically, and the different layers of meaning in your art?
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Well, oh, the meaning, that's tough. I mean, I could obviously tell you about the different layers. Now I'm getting warm. I've got to take off my scarf.
Maybe you can start from the physical aspect, and
Yeah.
then that will give the.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, so everything that I do is layered. Everything. I don't think the most recent collection that I worked on, which there's one behind me. I don't know if you can see it, but those layers, I worked mainly in watercolor. And then I did different acrylic inks on top. And then I also created these eyes that are layered on top, which are done in graphite, which are like, come off of the watercolor paper and sort of a three-dimensional thing. With these pieces, the watercolor layer to me represents, I guess, the fuzzy filters that we use on Instagram to hide our imperfections and to show ourselves, to present ourselves in a way maybe that we feel pressure from society to be. So everything is kind of fuzzy and breaking outside of the lines a little bit, because I feel like, that's me rebelling. I want to break outside of the mold and fight back. I'm not really sure what the meaning would be with the acrylic inks. I don't know. They just look nice. And then
That's the meaning.
Yeah, and then with the eyes, for me,
Yeah.
because the girls are so filtered and so fuzzy and showing up the way society expects them to, I always do one larger eye, which is kind of a glimpse into the women's soul, where it's more realistic because it represents reality, and my girls are hiding, but they also really want to connect, to share the heaviness that they're carrying, because I work with mental health. It can be anything from depression to ADD to PST, anything, any sort of diagnosis or anything that they're feeling that they don't feel that they're able to share with the world. And so through that eye, they're trying to connect and be a little bit brave. When I'm doing some of my other pieces, like my mixed media pieces, on canvas, it usually starts with a bit of journaling. Actually, I will scribble right on the canvas. I will use whatever. I mean, I know it's going to be covered up, but it either starts with me journaling my own feelings,
Right.
or sometimes I'll write like words of hope and almost like a blessing to the piece, to whoever's going to own the piece. And then I cover it up with so many different layers of paint, paper, inks. I use a lot of modeling paste and different things to get different textures. And quite often when I'm doing those and I'm creating women, I work and I work and I work and I'll build up, maybe 8, 10 layers, and I'll, turn it around and look at it from every angle. And then suddenly the woman just kind of appears. I know exactly where she's going to be and who she's going to be. And then I add her. And yeah, I guess that's the best I can really answer that.
So what does it, how does it help you that you are writing and then covering it with layers? Does it help you to be able to deliver your message more easily, or?
Yeah, I think because so much for me, it's therapeutic. It's art therapy quite often, that it does really help to get the emotions out. And then, more often than not, it's wishes that I want to give to the owner, to the collector that's going to have that piece. Quite often it's affirmations, trying to remind them of how beautiful and strong and unique that they are. I've started another collection somewhat recently. I think some of these people were on the live when I was doing it, and it was brand new. I decided, it was kind of funny because I decided I wanted my message to be a little bit visual. So I did it with hot glue.
Okay.
And then I layered on top of it, but I didn't realize that it was going to be quite as visible as it was. And I had written, I won't curse, I'll say, yeah, I am an effing warrior. And
Yeah, that becomes maybe a prayer.
Yeah, I mean, I am an effing warrior. And it's in huge.
Wow.
I mean, you can see it right through the painting. And then I decided, you know what? There's somebody that really needs to see that message. So I'm going to leave it there just as it is. And it's
Okay.
When people see it from far away, they won't see the message. But if somebody needs to see it, or if they're up close, it kind of hits you in the face and you're like, wow, I am an effing warrior.
I said it now. So.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
So, yeah.
I think Rebecca asked to see the piece you're describing behind you.
Okay, let's see.
And Kat said it's amazing. It's awesome, which I agree with.
Oh, thank you. Let's see if I can.
Oh, wow. It's bigger than I thought.
Can you see? Is it light enough? Okay, yeah. So this is one of my pieces that I think her name is, this one is called Daryl. I had to think about it for a minute. So she's done on watercolor paper. This is the way I paint a lot of my girls, or all of my girls in this collection. They're very imperfect and lots of running, bleeding, imperfect colors. And then here we have like the inks and like the breaking outside of the mold. And let me see if I can. And then we have a realistic eye, a more realistic eye that's, attached. So it stands off of the paper.
Is there another eye behind? Or
sometimes, but not always.
Okay.
Not always. And then all of my pieces I have mounted on birch wood. And, so that you can just take them home and frame them really easily. One of the things that I really like, these girls, I don't want them to hide behind glass. I want them to be big and bold. And so that's why I haven't framed them. That's why I've mounted them. And so when they're on the wall, they're they stand out a little bit, and they make a bit of an impression. I think they've got something to say.
So it's funny because you started by saying they are imperfect because somewhere the paint it's not painted everywhere. But it
Yeah.
really makes me think about the fact that when we film ourselves, and just like now, for example, I think my hair is too big, or I think I don't know what, I just think things about my
Of
face
course.
like that.
Yeah.
And we're it's crazy that we're the only one to be so judgmental about ourselves. When I look at someone else on video, I know they are probably very judgmental about themselves, but I will have the impression that they are perfect. And the reason I will have this impression is that they are just taking, being brave and actually showing up and being on a photo and being on a video and things like that.
Right.
And so it's funny because when you said that it was imperfect, I would never think that when I look at this painting. I would think it's really beautiful. I would think it's perfect. But maybe because you created it, then it's imperfect from your point of view. I don't know. But
maybe, but I also think that, none of us are perfect, and that it's really important for us to realize that and kind of embrace that, because what do they say? Like, perfectly imperfect. That's us. That's the human race. And yeah. Things don't have to be perfect.
yeah, it's important to let go. Yeah, I agree that we don't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
It's better. So,
all right. Should I ask you one?
Yeah. I love your questions.
I only have 2 left. I might. Okay.
Well, that's okay. We only have 20 minutes left.
Yeah. Okay, good. One of the questions that I have is, you work so much, you're constantly working. So how do you manage your time? How do you turn it off so that you just have, Gavriella time?
Right. So, and I said, just to make sure, I didn't say that we have 20 minutes left because I want to end the conversation. It's just that Instagram shuts up the video. Yeah. Okay. All right. So how do I manage my time? It's something I've been working on improving, because definitely I'm spending too much time on my laptop, and that's not my goal. I want to have this balance with enjoying life as well, and being able to have fun with other things, reading, watching stuff on Netflix, and things like that. And so, and what was especially difficult is that I started the Artist Entrepreneur Club while I was working in an art gallery full time. So I was working on it in the evening, at lunchtime, and when I transitioned from having a full-time job to working on my project only, so I kept that. I kept that on working on my things at lunch, in the evening, and I didn't realize instantly that I had to, that wasn't the goal. The goal was that I could enjoy life at the same time. So it's not perfect yet, but I'm improving at closing my laptop at 6 and doing something else. And also something that I have been improving is that it's quite recent, though. It's not something I'm the master at. And I have been working at defining time. For example, I'm receiving. I'm not saying that to brag, but I'm I'm receiving lots of messages. So I have lots of messages waiting on Instagram, on LinkedIn, because I'm on these different platforms. And when I create an event, I become late because I don't answer people at the same time. So now, for example, there are 100 messages waiting on LinkedIn, and I could spend the whole day answering these. But what I have been working hard on is that I am limiting the day, and it's okay if someone is going to wait a little bit more to get an answer, because that's my worry, is that someone is going to wait to get an answer, although probably they don't care. But
they'll be there. They'll still be there. And I'm guilty of messaging you too, so I should.
No. Yeah. That's not what I meant.
No, I know. But
Yeah.
you should never feel guilty about not answering me or anybody else because we're still going to be there. You still have, there has to be some balance in
That's
your life.
such one of my worries, that if I don't answer, someone is going to get disappointed. And that's
It'll
the
be
last
fine.
thing I want. So, yeah, you're right. But I have been improving that. So, for example, today I could have spent the whole day working on answering LinkedIn messages, but I am limiting it to 2 hours. And if by 2 hours, I mean, it was emails and LinkedIn and Instagram all together. And if I haven't finished, then it's okay. I haven't finished, and then I can focus on developing the Artist Entrepreneur Club, improving how it's organized and things like that. But I really, to answer the question, I start working really at 10 a.m. after I meditated and after I journaled. I feel like a guru right now, but it's really helping. And I
Yeah,
end and I finish at 6. And then I start to relax.
that's good.
Yeah, and things do
And
this.
weekends? Do you work on the weekends?
During the pandemic, I did. Now it's opening. I'm not working together. I'm not working tomorrow. I'm not working on Sunday.
Good.
I'm back on Monday at my desk. So I
Great.
have planned some posts for Instagram, for things. Everything is planned in advance and the week before. So I plan, for example, my newsletter for Monday. It's written today. My social media posts for next week, they are planned at the beginning of the week. So I'm improving very much on planning all of these things in advance. So I don't have to worry about working on the weekend.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and do you work on the weekend?
No.
Good.
I really try not to. I've had a really bad work ethic most of my life.
I can relate. Yeah.
And I think a lot of that is because of my ADD, and not being in the right roles. And it wasn't until, 2020 that I decided, no, that's it. Full-time artist, letting go of the corporate world because it really didn't suit me.
When did you stop?
When did I?
Stop working in the corporate world?
2020, January of
Wow.
2020.
Oh my God, very recent.
Yeah, it was actually right before my mom passed away, and I was getting a lot of pressure from the job. They didn't want me to travel to see my mom, and that's one of the reasons I just decided this corporate world is not for me. Nobody's going to make those rules. At the end of the day, I have no loyalty to the company. My loyalty is to, the people in my life and what I have passion for. So it was an easy decision to make. But no, I have an easy time because, I'm 46, like almost as old as your mom. And
You're 46. You're not old. You're really young. And my mom is young too. And everyone here is very young. And we have so many days and years
we
for
do,
projects.
absolutely. But because I had spent so many years in, bad work environments, I have a really easy time turning it off when I get home. And even though this is something that I'm so passionate about, I will, of course, I still post on social media because I love connecting with people. So that still exists for me. But and I'll create art on the weekends. But to me, it's not really working in the same sense as when I worked for someone else. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, and how is your day organized? How do
Oh,
you,
it's not. That's the problem. Um, I need to look into this time blocking thing because, and that's another thing with ADD that I have a really hard time with because I get sidetracked so easily. I try to break it down. Well, I really struggle with that, honestly. I try to break it down to a couple of main things that I need to do. Like I'll do my admin type stuff on Monday. I try to plan most of my social media posts at one point during the week. Usually on a Monday, I'll plan for that week, but I'm still on social media constantly. So that plan goes up in smoke, quite often. Fridays and Wednesdays are my days to be inside of my studio. And on both days, I run live studio sessions with other people. And, that gives me accountability, and also it forces me to get into the studio. And I think that's something that so many people don't realize, that when you're working as an artist, you spend so little time creating. When it becomes a business, it's just marketing is the biggest thing. And then, you've got the business aspects, and there's so much that goes into it, shipping, like you've talked to all the shipping companies. I think I probably spend 20% of my time actually creating. And
Right.
yeah, people don't get that. I think that's one of the reasons why artists' work is so undervalued.
Yeah. Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Kat says, thank you for being so honest. I think it's really helpful that you are sharing these struggles as well, and how to, and something I had a really useful conversation with a mindset coach recently, and she really helped me understand that, because I can be a big procrastinator and scrolling down, and because I'm, the reason is that I might be really scared of the next task to be done, and so I'll avoid it, and I'll spend a lot of time somewhere else, and then I come back, it's too late, so I haven't done it, yay. and so what she really helped me with is to understand that this is related to mindset. And while talking with her, I realized that in the morning and in the evening, I am so inspired, and I want to be ambitious, and I want to have all of these projects, and I say, yes, I can reach my goals and things like that. And when I actually get to work, I completely forget, and I procrastinate, and I forget about the person I want to be during the day, in the morning and in the evening, and I become someone else. And so so that really helped me to understand that it's completely related to mindset, and to trusting yourself, and to being confident as well. So
that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
So for everyone struggling with procrastination, if that might be a tip, to work on the mindset as well. To improve the mindset.
And I try and do this doesn't always happen. I try and do the thing that I've been putting off the longest first in the day, because once I can check that off my list, I just feel like it's gone.
Good.
It's done. Now I can do the fun stuff, and even if I don't get everything on my list done today, I've done that one big thing that I really didn't want to do. It doesn't always happen, but I try.
Cool, that's great. So you like the eat the frog situation that we talked about.
I had never heard of that before, but that definitely works for me, I think.
Well, when I heard that sentence, eat the frog, I thought it was like a basic
the French thing. Ha ha ha. No. Sorry.
That's okay. Recently, I saw a heron eat a frog, literally. That was really impressive. But I thought it was a usual English expression. Okay. So and I actually, after a while, talking with other people, talking with you, for example, I realized, no, it's not something we say every day, to eat the frog. But
maybe not in the US anyway. Maybe it is in England, but you guys speak the real English, not us.
So Rebecca says we could do a workshop on mindset. Well, we have them in the club once a month. This month we're going to have it next week. But actually, it's funny because so I decided that in my strategy for my business plan, I am going to because I liked the idea of having the workshop on NFTs week. And so in between free challenges, so free challenges are like bigger launches, I would like to do a smaller kind of event. And actually, I think I'll invite you, Jennifer, to get involved with that. But the next one,
Yay.
I think it will be, the next workshop would be probably related to wellness and to yes, to wellness in the visual art industry. So yeah, probably we'll be working together on that. I haven't
Awesome.
talked to you about it yet, and I'm the kind of person who announces the project like that and who invites you in front of everyone.
I'll do it. I'm up for almost anything, you know. I've got one more question for you
Oh yeah.
So, okay, speaking of frogs, now I'm so mean. What is the one food that you miss the most from France?
Oh, that's easy. Bread, of course. Yeah.
You know, I have a friend that lives here from Paris, and she says exactly the same thing. Okay, so aside from the bread,
Okay. All right. Well,
no wine, no
without
cheese,
yeah, my
no
grandmother's
chocolate.
food. My
Yeah.
grandmother's food, yeah. So she makes these potatoes in the oven, and they are the best. She also makes kind of fresh feed, but not like the British kind, her own. And so
Yeah.
she's the best cook, and
Oh,
I also love her. I love spending time with her. We go shopping together. She's really amazing. She has a taste for fashion, by the way, which is outstanding, and and she cooks really well as well. So yeah, that's what I miss.
so
My
when can I visit her?
Oh yeah, you come whenever. She doesn't speak English though, but well, she'll be happy.
Oh,
She will say like funny words in English. She'll make fun of you probably a little bit for
perfect.
speaking English.
Perfect.
You can come whenever.
Awesome.
That would be great.
Is
Yeah,
she in Paris?
yeah, she's in Paris. Yeah, in the 13th arrondissement. Yeah, yeah.
Great. Yeah.
Wherever. So, so can you? I'd love to ask one more question, if that's okay,
Of course.
related to wellness. So, I'm thinking of the way to say that better than it's written here. So, do you have, well, what was the strongest kind of wellness topic or wellness maybe moment in your life that changed a lot your artistic direction?
Yeah, that's easy. I could answer that in 2 seconds. It's when I lost my mom. I you know, in the past, I had done a lot of figurative art. I had done a lot of, you know, portraits and women and flowers. Everything was a lot more realistic than it is now. And I didn't really have any meaning behind it. I couldn't tell you why I was creating what I was creating. I was just, you know, enjoying what I was creating. And yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. But then when I lost mom, things definitely, you know, it took a while for me to get back in the studio. I wouldn't come in at all for a little while. And then I started just kind of sketching these really, really sad faces. And then I was using charcoal quite a lot. So everything was black and dark. And I couldn't create anything with color or brightness. And that started to kind of change after a little while, and I started creating, you know, these women behind me, but I didn't understand why. Um, and I was in another artist group that I'm still in, and part of it is to go quite deep into the psychology of why you're creating what you're creating. And through that, I realized, the meaning behind my portraits, that it really had a deep connection with mental health and a lot of shame. Um,
Okay.
yeah, I think that's mainly where it comes from, and that's when things really shifted.
It's really interesting because there is this relationship between the girls and your mom, and at the same time you call them the girls.
Yeah,
And so,
yeah.
we have 4 minutes left, but I have two questions.
Okay, okay.
So, well, no, first of all, thank you so much for sharing that. That's really,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
really appreciate it. And so, and I should have thought that was the answer. And so, why do you call them your girls?
I never really thought about it, but now that you're saying it, um, my grandfather always referred to us, me, my mom, and my sister, and my grandmother as his girls. And my mom would always call me and my sister her girls.
Oh,
And maybe that's where it comes from. I'm not quite sure, but maybe.
you're perpetuating tradition.
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, yeah.
Beautiful. And my other question is one of your girls your mom?
Yes, yes.
So there is you, there is your mom. Is there your daughter as well?
Kind of, kind
Okay.
of. Not with intent, but afterward. And same with the one, wait. Okay. I just looked at the clock. And the funniest thing is, I never even thought about it, but I've got, yeah. Okay. So there's one that kind of looks like my daughter, and which I didn't realize until afterwards. But when I had my recent solo exhibit, I had some family in the States that, of course, couldn't be there. So I was taking the camera around and showing them all the pieces. And then I had put together this little book that you probably saw, where I'm giving all the girls different personalities and whatnot. And I had one girl named Evie, hadn't even thought about it. And one of my aunts is looking at the picture, at the portrait, and she's like, "That's your grandmother. That's completely your grandmother's face." And her sister is named Evie,
Oh,
which is the cousin. How do I
wow.
explain that? The cousin that I was speaking with, her mom is Evie, and my grandmother was Yetta. And when I look at it, I can see my grandmother so clearly. So I've got me, my mom, my daughter, my grandmother. I really should do one for my sister.
Not the right time to start feeling guilty about it.
She's not on Instagram. She won't see
Right.
this.
I think that's really beautiful.
Hadn't thought about it, but that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's
The
really cool.
relationship between, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get cut off, but this has been
Yeah.
so awesome.
Yeah, that's so cool. Can I just ask you before we finish? I think it
Yeah.
says when I have 30 seconds left.
Okay.
Could I ask you as well what's the food you're missing the most? I think your question is
Oh,
better than mine, so I'm asking you the same questions.
pizza. Pizza. Real pizza. American, New York style pizza.
I never went to New York, so you have to describe it a little bit for me.
Um, it's not pan. It's not like, well, I haven't had pizza in England, so I'm not quite sure. It's not thin
It's not
crust.
great.
Is it not great? But it's not pan like you would see at Pizza Hut. It's something in between, and it's like always with mozzarella cheese, and the sauce is a little bit sweet, and you can kind of, I don't know, it's delicious. It's just absolutely delicious.
But
Much better than the greasy Swedish stuff.
I heard before that you love pizza. So
I
yeah,
do. I
yeah.
do. And sushi.
Oh,
But
yeah. Oh,
I can get sushi here. So
yeah, you can get sushi here. Yeah,
yeah.
I love
Yeah.
sushi too. I love it. Like I was actually reading a book recently about the different upgrades you can do in your life. So it starts looking a little bit more like the life you would have in your dreams.
Right,
And
right.
one of mine definitely having sushis once a week.
Yeah, I had it last night. It was so good.
Cool. That's so cool.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, oh, sorry. So something popped up on my screen.
Oh,
So thank you so much, Jennifer, for today.
thank
So
you.
amazing. Thank you for the great questions. And I hope you didn't mind that I love talking about myself so much. That's ridiculous at that point.
No, you're great. You're great. It's been so cool to ask questions too. I don't get to do that often. So
Yeah, I think that was really fun. I love the dynamic, and
yeah,
maybe it's possible because we know each other already. So thank
yeah,
you so
yeah.
much.
Thank you. And thanks
Thank
to
you.
everybody watching.
Yes, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for everyone for the lovely comments. Thank you, Kat. Thank you, Rebecca.
Can we
And
see the comments once they're...
I don't think so.
Oh, I missed half
Yeah.
of them. But oh, it is Friday. Shabbat Shalom.
Oh, yeah. Shabbat Shalom. Yeah, Shabbat Shalom, Rebecca. So I said it with my French accent, and you said it with your
My
with your
English, my
American.
American
Yes.
accent. Yeah,
Yes, which I love.
absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Jennifer, and
Thank
take
you.
care and Shabbat Shalom, and have a great weekend as well.
You too.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.